Your brain is being hijacked. Whether you realize it or not, the constant flood of sexual content in today's world is rewiring your mind, keeping you distracted, unfocused, and hooked on instant gratification. If you've ever felt like sexual thoughts take up too much mental space, or that you're losing control over your own focus and energy, you're not alone. The good news, you can take back control. This isn't about suppressing desire, it's about mastering your mind. Imagine having complete control over your thoughts, redirecting your energy toward creativity, success, and higher thinking instead of being stuck in a cycle of distractions. That's what we're going to talk about today. How to actually desexualize your brain and unlock a level of focus and power that most people never experience. Let's get into it. So why does this even matter? What's the problem with a mind filled with sexual thoughts? Well, here's the truth. Your brain is designed to seek pleasure, but in today's world, it's being overstimulated in ways that our ancestors never experienced. We're bombarded with suggestive images, movies, advertisements, and even social media posts that trigger an endless loop of desire. And here's where it gets dangerous. The more your brain gets exposed to these triggers, the more it craves them. It becomes a loop, a habit, stealing your focus, your willpower, and even your motivation to do things that truly matter in your life. Think about it. How many times have you caught yourself scrolling through social media, your attention locked onto suggestive content without even realizing it? How often do you feel drained, mentally sluggish, unable to focus for long periods? That's not a coincidence. Your brain is being trained to seek quick, easy dopamine hits rather than deep, meaningful engagement with life. And when your mental energy is scattered, your ability to create, to achieve, to think clearly, it all gets diminished. Now let's be real, sexuality itself is not the enemy. It's natural, it's human, and in the right context, it's a powerful force. But when it dominates your thoughts, when it dictates your actions, and when it becomes an unconscious addiction, it's time to take back control. And the first step? Understanding what's actually happening in your brain. Every time you engage in sexualized content, whether it's scrolling through seductive images, consuming explicit material, or just letting your thoughts drift toward fantasies, your brain releases dopamine, the neurotransmitter responsible for pleasure and reward. Over time, your brain starts to crave more of it. But here's the issue. The more you indulge, the more your brain builds a tolerance. What once gave you a rush of excitement becomes normal, so you seek more intense stimulation. It's a cycle, and if left unchecked, it can rewire your brain to seek pleasure over productivity, comfort over challenge, and distractions over discipline. So how do you break free? How do you actually desexualize your brain and reclaim your mental power? The answer lies in rewiring your thought patterns, shifting your focus, and replacing mindless indulgence with meaningful engagement. Let's start with the first major shift, awareness. You can't change something if you're not aware of it. Start observing your thought patterns without judgment. When a sexual thought arises, don't fight it, just notice it. Ask yourself, why did this thought come up? What triggered it? Was it something you saw, something you heard, a habit you've built over time? When you bring awareness to your thoughts, you weaken their control over you. The second step, interrupt the pattern. Your brain loves familiarity, so if it's used to indulging in certain thoughts, it will keep going back to them. The trick is to break the loop. When a sexualized thought enters your mind, shift your focus immediately. Get up, change your environment, take a deep breath, or engage in an activity that demands your full attention. The more you train your brain to shift focus, the weaker the old patterns become. Now here's where things get powerful. Transmutation. This is about redirecting your sexual energy into something greater, your passions, your goals, your purpose. Throughout history, some of the greatest minds, artists, philosophers, scientists, have spoken about harnessing this energy for creativity and achievement. Instead of letting your thoughts drain you, channel that energy into something that fuels you. Exercise, create, build, learn. When you do this, you start to rewire your brain for strength and focus instead of indulgence. But let's be honest, this isn't just about thoughts. It's about habits. If you want to desexualize your brain, you need to detox from overstimulation. That means cutting down on content that triggers unwanted thoughts. Unfollow accounts that flood your mind with suggestive images, limit screen time, and be intentional about the media you consume. Instead, fill your mind with things that uplift you: books, meaningful conversations, knowledge that expands your perspective. And here's something most people overlook. Physical discipline fuels mental discipline. Your body and mind are deeply connected, so if you want to train your brain, train your body. Regular exercise, cold showers, breath work, these practices build resilience. They train you to control impulses, endure discomfort, and cultivate a mindset of strength. When you master your physical urges, your mental clarity follows. Another crucial piece: mindfulness and meditation. Most people think they need to fight their thoughts, but real control comes from observing them without attachment. Through mindfulness, you develop the ability to watch your thoughts come and go without being controlled by them. Meditation strengthens your focus, helping you gain mastery over your mental world rather than being at the mercy of fleeting desires. Let's also talk about your environment. You can have all the discipline in the world, but if your surroundings constantly trigger your old habits, you're making things harder for yourself. Optimize your space, remove temptations, create an environment that supports your mental clarity. Surround yourself with people who encourage your growth rather than pull you into distractions. And here's a final truth. You don't lose anything by desexualizing your brain. You gain everything: more energy, more focus, more control. You start living with intention rather than being ruled by impulse. You start thinking deeply, creating boldly, and moving through life with an unshakable sense of purpose. This is about freedom. The freedom to use your mind as a tool for greatness, rather than letting it be hijacked by temporary pleasures. So, take a moment right now and ask yourself, am I in control of my thoughts, or are they controlling me? If you're ready to reclaim your mind, it starts today. Awareness, pattern interruption, transmutation, detox, discipline, mindfulness, environment. These are the keys to rewiring your brain and stepping into a level of power that most people never experience. The choice is yours. Will you take back control?